14th of January 2025. It's a little bit late for end of year 2024, but I tried my best. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my top 50 of 2024. I know what you're probably thinking. You haven't released a single other video till now, and you're just going to start off telling us what the best albums are. And to that I say, yeah, I think it's a good way to start things off here, to be honest. So let's go right ahead. Start off at number 50. We've got Blade Cold Visions, probably one of my most repeated this year, just in terms of going to the gym or just having something on in the background, keep you motivated, keep you hype. Probably one of my more favorite Blade solo releases so far, and I'm really just excited to see where he goes from here. Like, I think he can even do better than this. Like, the formula here is working, and I think he's got something else. At number 49, we've got Joby, A Sound Heart, the follow up from their album 2 years ago, maybe last year. Jazz fusion, spiritual jazz album that is absolutely blissful to listen to. Just totally taken off the back from their previous project, and it is absolutely glorious. It was always going to have high expectations to follow up from such a classic jazz, modern jazz album, and I think they've done really well here. Number 48, we have Juju with their 13-inch Frank Beltram Italian Stiletto with bison horn grips. Long title, but considering the career of Juju at this point, the fact they've now kind of cycled back towards this psychedelic, this poppier sound, really great, to be honest. I think it shows just how diverse their discography is. And although it's not probably my most favorite Juju project, um, they definitely just show that they are one of the most creative bands around. At number 47, we've got Fat White Family. Forgiveness is Yours. I absolutely loved their previous project, at least a few years ago now, and they managed to one up themselves. The most zany, one of the most inspired, uh, passionate albums that I've heard this year. Just the things that they do, the instrumentations, the lyrical content is all just pretty bonkers, and it's been flown under the radar quite a bit. I think some people just need to give this a try because honestly, it's one of my favorite albums. At number 46, we've got the collaboration of Boldy James and Nicholas Craven, Penalty of Leadership. Absolutely cold, stone cold flows from Boldy James. Him and Nicholas Craven obviously were going to have great chemistry. They've worked together before, so them coming together again, Boldy James providing once again, even after the horrible car crash that he suffered recently, that he is still on top of his game, having one of the hardest flows in the rap game right now, and this album is no exception. At 45, we've got St. Vincent with All Born Screaming. Their previous project, amazing project, probably one of the top 50 of that year, and they've absolutely carried on that momentum onto this project. Killer songwriting, absolutely stank face fiasco worth of instrumentations. This whole thing just bang after bang after bang after banger. At number 44, we've got Though with Umbilical, not the last metal inclusion on this
list.
one of my favorite sludge metal albums of the year, 100%. And it's crazy after nearly 20 years and lineup changes that now they're releasing their best album, which is pretty insane to me. But this thing, hard as hell, riffs crazy, and it's just grimy, dirty, and it's just absolutely what I like from sludge metal. At number 43, we've got Cassandra Jenkins, My Light, My Destroyer, a previous project, loved to bits. was absolutely one of my favorites of that year, and she's even improved on that. The singer-songwriters, sometimes it can be hit or miss, but with Cassandra, she has a perfect formula. Her song's so personal, and her instrumentation, along with those beautiful vocals that she has, just it's just so tantalizing. At number 42, we have Vince Staples, Dark Times. Thank you to my boy Vince Staples. He came back from that horrible, horrible project the last time round, and he's had a return to form. Probably his best one since probably Big Fish Theory, which is saying a lot. Really like this album. Also highly repeated. Uh, the melodies, his lyricism, so many great things about this album. Probably one of the better hip hop albums this year. At number 41, we've got Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Wild God. It's just crazy to me how, at the later stages of their careers, they're still just at their peak almost. It's crazy how they're still making new and experimental content. It just shows to show how great Nick Cave is as a songwriter. Because honestly, this album is so beautiful. It's so enticing. It's since Ghost Teen, I didn't think that Nick Cave could continue to make this great output. From Carnage to here, it just shows how great of a songwriter he is. At number 40, we've got Blue and Exile. Love the Omnibus World. Blue and Exile, last album, amazing, great album. But this one I think tops it. This one is absolutely awesome. And it's just crazy how 20 years later, since Below the Heavens, it's still great production from Exile. Their chemistry is off the charts, and they definitely just work so perfectly together. At number 39, we've got Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft, her most mature, probably greatest instrumental album that she's made, which is really saying something. But I think this has definitely been one of my most replayed, just due to the fact that it's got so many bangers on it. It's just got so many great songs, like great written songs, and it's just honestly makes me excited for Billie Eilish in the future. At number 38, we've got Lupe Fiasco with Samurai, one of the better jazz rap albums of this year. Absolute return to form for him. Probably one of his best in a few years now. Samurai is absolutely awesome. Catchy hooks, beautiful production, and some of his least corny bars to date, which is really saying something. At number 37, we've got Chief Keef with the follow up to Almighty So. 11 years since the predecessor, and he somehow lived up to the hype and exceeded it. It's crazy how Chief Keef started at such a young age, had all these legal troubles, and now he's still here creating some of the best drill, some of the best trap in the game right now. Like, I did not expect this album to be as good as it was, and I'm so happy. He seems to be doing well. At number 36, we've got Laura Marling with Passions in Repeat. Previous projects, Songs for Our Daughter, were one of my favorites of that year, and she's absolutely gone and followed that up with another beautiful album. Just dainty instruments, insightful personal lyricism that she always has, and honestly, she's just one of the greatest storytellers. At number 35, we've got Car, The Thief Next to Jesus. Oh boy, what a sad year losing Car. Just seemed like a fantastic human, uh, you know, and for him to pass away as early as he did unexpectedly is devastating. And I think this album right here is probably a perfect send off for him. Uh, it just encapsulates everything that he's about. Collaborations, we're talking about his solo projects. It's great that this is probably one of his best projects, and yeah, all I can say is rest in power. At number 34, we've got the Lemon Twigs, A dream is all we know. Just great, awesome, beautiful, good, heartwarming sunshine pop. Just absolutely tight to a T, just perfection, and it just makes you feel warm inside. Summer, been playing this thing, banging it along. Just absolutely great, and Lemon Twigs follows up from the previous project, make something even better. Number 33, we've got the collaboration between Fax Gang and Paranul. Uh, I can see a lot of people, a lot of disagreement over whether this album is good or not. But personally, I really enjoyed the unique genre blend that they brought. I think Paranol's heavy shoegaze sound just works quite well with Fang's cloud rap and indie. Um, I think that they had great chemistry, considering it was their first release, maybe only release, and it was definitely one of my favorites this year. At number 32, we've got Noel as spoken. Noel are on a roll. And they produced probably one of the most manic releases this year. Honestly, this thing is crazy bonkers. Uh, if you love death grind, if you love black metal, this thing is right up your alley. If you haven't listened to it yet, because it is absolutely manic, and it is probably one of my favorite metal albums. At 31, we have Fontaine's DC with Romance. Follow up, obviously, from Skinty Fear, which was one of my favorite albums of that year. And they just continue to provide some of the best indie rock, alt rock around at the moment. Just unique production, unique lyricism, unique vocals, just so many things that make them stand out from a lot of other bands around. Coming into the top 30, at number 30, we have MGMT with Loss of Life. The follow up from Low Dark Age was always going to be hard to follow up from, but they absolutely did it. Just love this album. Been on repeat all year. Uh, and it's crazy from, the early 2010s. People probably thought they were just going to make this and that's all they were going to be, but they've shown that they uh, can switch it up. They're a creative band. Coming in at number 29, we have Paranul and their solo project Sky 100. Obviously, one of the best shoegaze bands around at the moment, especially of this decade. Just coming in with consistent output, um, really just showing that shoegaze still has so many things to be explored in the genre. This one, beautiful, dreamy, loud. It's just it's just everything I kind of want out of shoegaze, to be honest. At number 28, we have Euboa with Impossible Light. To follow up of something of as dark and as dissonant as uh, the origin of my depression was always going to be hard, but I think she's done absolutely amazing here. This album is incredibly hard hitting. It's incredibly raw, even. It's just manic as well, and it's definitely one of the harshest listens you'll have this year, that's for sure. And at number 27, we have Nala Sinfro with Endlessness, jazz fusion electronic album. Um, Absolutely serene and blissful, and definitely one of the most calming releases this year. Uh, Coming in from her previous project, had so much anticipation, and this absolutely knocked it out the park. Number 26, we've got Ulcerate. Cutting the throat of God. And if you can't tell by that title, this album is a metal album. And a hard hitting metal album at that. Uh, just absolutely irate and dense and absolutely attacks your eardrums, especially wearing great headphones like these. Oh, God, it absolutely rocks your soul. Number 25, we've got Big Blue Ghost, Title Memory EXO, and might I say, might be the best album cover of the year. Just so sick to look at. But just absolutely inspired, ethereal experience. Um, just some of the best UK bass, some of the best D&B in the world right now, to be honest. Just ahead of everyone else, really. At number 24, we've got Kamasi Washington, Fearless Movement. We all know Kamasi Washington at this point, one of the better jazz musicians around, coming with some more awe-inspiring soul jazz. Just absolutely the smoothest listen you'll have this year. Just so beautiful. And Kamasi Washington just continues to show why he's awesome. At number 23, we've got Chat Pile, Cool World. Following up from their previous project, we didn't know what we were going to get, but they once again knocked out the park. Just creative, hard hitting, just going absolutely bonkers. Yeah, if you love noise rock, love sludge metal, this thing is for you. At number 22, we have Makomi with hashtag Rex Hacks Aiton. Uh, just some of his best production to date, which is really saying something, and just overall showing why he's one of the most creative hip hop voices around right now. His beats tight knit, hard hitting, and honestly just one of my listen to albums this year. At number 21, we've got Kendrick Lamar, GNX. This one took me a while to really just dissect the whole thing. And it's coming from a man who dropped 3 diss tracks and was getting named Rapper of the Year. And then he just dropped a surprise album out of nowhere that featured some of his biggest bangers to date. Beautiful production to date as well. And also having that introspective lyricism that Kendrick always brings. Whew, he's just on a different level. And at number 20, we've got Julia Holter, Something in the Room She Moves. Fantastic album. Spiritual, enchanting orchestrations. She's just honestly killing it. You know, last album amazing, this album amazing. She is on leading the way nearly on art pop, chamber jazz. She is just got one of the most soothing, beautiful voices in the landscape today. Number 19, we've got Mama Leak with Vida Blue. Just absolutely grimy and beautiful albums. From their previous project, I was really hoping for great improvement, and they definitely have showed it here. Just cohesive, tight-knit performances from everyone. If you haven't given this a listen, please do. It's one of my favorite rock albums of the year. Just have so many different arrangements, so many different ideas. I'm just excited to see where the band goes from here. At number 18, we've got Adrienne Lenker of Big Thief, Bright Future, one of the best folk albums of the year, undoubtedly. On a different wavelength, she is great lyricism, beautiful, amazing personal and harmonic vocals. She just paints such a beautiful picture in anything she does, and the album is no exception to that. Beautiful, beautiful album. Number 17, we have the 16-year return of The Cure with Songs of a Lost World. Robert Smith and The Cure has just absolutely not missed a single beat, and they're still just as beautifully arranged and dark as they always have been. It's just crazy how after all this time they're still coming out with beautiful albums like this. If you told me in 2024 that The Cure would have a top 20 album of that year, yeah, okay, maybe. Number 16, we've got Peggy. I lay down my life for you. It's crazy. Peggy's output is just, it's so insane. It's so creative. It's so different from any other hip hop producer. Just featuring some of his most experimental production to date, also having some of his biggest bangers. Uh, just absolutely beautiful album. Also, high repeat album for me. Just he's just on a different wavelength than everyone else as well. You know, he's just production wise, he's one of the most creative I've probably ever seen. At number 15, we've got Godspeed You, Black Emperor, and with no title as of 13th of February 2024, as there are 28,340 dead. Obviously, it is in retrospect of the conflict in Israel and Palestine. Um, and they've always been political, war focused, and this is no exception. Um, all I can say is ceasefire now. At number 14, we've got Magdalena Bay, Imaginal Disc. Just so lush and dense and just beautiful. It's crazy how much they improved just from their previous project. Um, just absolutely ethereal, so tight knit, great performances from everyone. Uh, yeah, a lot of people's album of the year. Um, but it's just crazy how fantastic this thing is. Number 13, we've got the man himself, Tyler, the Creator, Chromacopia. My partner's probably her favorite album of the year, as I've listened to this thing a lot because of that. But I'm definitely not complaining because it's definitely out of Tyler's recent content, it's probably his biggest grower for me. His most vulnerable, has some of his most experimental production, uh, and it's just really great to see kind of an encapsulation of everything he's been doing these last few years. Um, and really, it's just probably his most vulnerable and revealing project yet. And number 12, we've got Father John Misty Masha Mashana. And, I love Father John Misty's output, especially Pure Comedy, all of those. And he's come in here probably with his grandest statement, some of the most experimental sounds yet. It's just crazy how this came after his previous project, which wasn't that great. But as this being a continuation off of that, it just really shows his creative thinking and just how he goes about writing songs and creating albums. This thing just sequenced amazingly. Number 11, we've got Phil Elverum of Mount Airy, Night Palace. Wow. I can't believe Phil Elverum out here still creating some of the most experimental post rock, avant folk albums of the year. Just he's just on a different wavelength. He's one of the greatest songwriters of his generation. Even if you go to his output on the microphones or his previous uh, content on Mount Airy, yeah, this album is it's definitely a grower. It takes a few listens, but man, it hits hard. Some of his most experimental production to date as well. Yeah, it's uh it's a great one. It's a doozy. You should definitely listen to it if you haven't. At number 10, we've got Joey Valence and Bray. No hands. Uh, just easy. Just the chemistry between these two is crazy. They're just creating some of those futuristic sounding hip hop records this decade. Uh, some possibly corny, outdated bars on here. Just the way they present themselves makes it work. And yeah, honestly, just create some of the biggest bangers this year. At number 9, we've got Knocked Loose. You won't go before you're supposed to. Oh, Knocked Loose, Sego, just absolutely hard. Just absolutely consistent, tight knit performances from all of them. Oh, like I don't think I have really a least favorite song on this thing. Just so perfect at everything it's trying to do. Metalcore down to a T. Um, just absolute stank face all around. Just absolutely hard hitting. Number 8, we've got Fortet 3. Previous few projects Fortet, I've been going, they've been a bit bang average, to be honest. I don't know where this came from. Good Fortet is obviously a down tempo and as a house producer, but this is just beautiful ambient sound, just so serene, and it's so crystal clear, and it's just so blissful. At number 7, we've got Chelsea Wolfe. She reaches out to she. I love Chelsea Wolfe's recent output, especially even with Mrs. Piss. Um, but this might be her best project to date because this is just so cold and dissonant, and it goes so hard. And it's just like a perfect encapsulation of everything she's been doing these last few years. And wow, such a good album. Um, if you haven't got the chance to listen to this and you love some, Portishead uh, or you love some even Nine Inch Nails, like this thing is up there. And speaking of Portishead, at number 6, we've got Beth Gibbons of Portishead with Lives Outgrown. It's her first solo project since 2002. So damn near 22 years ago. And she's just banged it out the park. Beautiful production, a beautiful, soothing, melancholic voice, just absolutely creating one of the dreariest sensual albums this year. Uh, it's almost like an acoustic Portishead. While we might not get another Portishead album, if Beth Gibbons is still going to make albums like this, then I am not going to complain. Coming in to the top 5 of 2024, top 5 favorite albums this year, we've got at number 5, Blood Incantation, absolute elsewhere, death metal, prog metal, just down to perfection. Previous few projects, amazing, awesome. This one takes the cake. There's not a single bad song on here. If you love metal, this album is for you. For experimentation, great instrumentation, great performances from everyone. Just absolutely one of my favorite listens this year. And at number 4, we've got the
album
of the summer. We've got Brat, Charlie XCX, production, absolutely fantastic. Charlie's performance, absolutely amazing. This thing is just absolute Grammy winning material all over it. It's just perfectly consistent, so tight, and it's such great, all memorable songs. And wow, it's going to be crazy to see how she tops this because this is near perfection. Coming in at number 3, we've got Onazi Pazuzu with Muntotoya. Just butchered that name. Absolute hard-hitting, dreary arrangements from this band. Previous project wasn't the biggest fan of it, but this is one of the most insane, hard-hitting albums of the year. Almost gives me vibes of Daughter's album, You Won't Get What You Want. It's on that level of just hard-hitting, consistent, tight-knit performances, and yeah, just overall a fantastic album. At number 2, we've got Vampire Weekend. Only God Was Above Us. It's crazy after all this time. This might be Vampire Weekend's best album, which is really saying something. The experimentation, the performances, just everything about it is just absolutely amazing. So tight knit, so fantastic from everyone, and yeah, just an absolutely fantastic album. Um, yeah, I'm so happy. I'm so happy Vampire Weekend are back. And at number 1, we have the weirdest Disney soundtrack of all time. We've got The New Sound by Jordy Greep. Wow. From departing from Black Midi as suddenly as it happened, and then to produce something that probably beats anything Black Midi ever made is insane to me. But Jordy Greep on this is so disgusting. His arrangements, those way of putting like instrumentations together are so absolutely bonkers. Uh, he's just he's just a unique, one of a kind, generational songwriter. And considering this is his first solo release, I'm excited to see where he could go from here because this is absolutely amazing from start to finish. And there you have it, 2024 best of, made in 14th of January 2025. A bit late, but better late than never. All right.